Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the topic how to learn English fast with the 5 tips. Today I'm here on board with the presentation with myself, Bruce, also known as Sins, and I am also here with Jeff Greenwell. So, Jeff, how are you, Jeff?
I'm doing great. How are you, Bruce? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Today I'm going to have a great conversation with you as you are the expertise in English teaching. But for me, I am going to ask your help to go through about this stuff because you are doing good on the thing that you are doing. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself, please?
Certainly. I have my bachelor's, master's, and PhD degrees in English,
Right.
and I've been teaching at the college and university level for over 12 years. I have a lot of experience working with students, including students who are learning English as a second language. And I've taught English at all levels, so I'm very familiar with the challenges that students experience when they are learning English.
Oh, that's a good point. Challenges is very important, especially for the ESL as the English for second language, right?
Exactly. It's English as a
All
second
right.
language, and yes, challenges can be difficult, but they also help you learn. So it's important to challenge yourself, but also to learn how to be able to get past those challenges as
All
well.
right, all right. That's so true. That's so true. All right, Jeff, let's go to the point. We have the 5 tips that we are going to go through today that will be making your English very effectively fast learning. Okay. The first one is about don't worry about making a mistake. What do you think about that? Because people
Right.
too worry too much or what?
Yeah, it's a good point because I think sometimes people worry that it has to be perfect. They're afraid to make mistakes, and this obviously applies not just to English but to all parts of life. That people want to do it right the first time and not, be making mistakes. But mistakes help you learn, and I always have told students when they make mistakes that there's nothing wrong with the mistake as long as you learn from it and you don't repeat it. So if you can understand what the mistake is and then make sure to correct it, then I think it can actually be very beneficial. But I think anytime that someone's learning English, it's very important that they understand that it doesn't have to be perfect and that mistakes will help you learn. So I think that that's a really key issue. I mean, what do you think in your experience
Yeah,
in terms of making
actually,
mistakes? What
for
does
the
that look like
making
for you?
making mistakes, something like when they make a lot of mistake in English, right? Oh, it depends, for the person who knows that mistakes is, for example, if I make a mistake in front of my manager or in front of the teacher that they know English very well. It depends how they take. Someone they come to tell me nicely and maybe in the behind the scene that actually this one you write wrongly and don't make me on shame with the author. You know that? But someone then they just speak it
Right.
out loud and make the other one seeing that oh this guy making mistake badly and things like that. It depends how it takes. So in just like try to don't worry too much if someone make you shame because you make a mistake. I heard one good point about that. I used to see someone they said that don't blame me because I am using the broken English. Actually, it means I know more than one language. Ah, so
Exactly.
so
Yes, that's true.
So, because if you know only English, then you won't make any mistake because you learn English from the first, from your mom and mother. Now it's just a reason. If anyone can blame you or make a joke on you when you are making a mistake in English, you tell them or you tell yourself that I make a broken English. I have broken English because English it is my second language. because something like that. So we can move on easily, right? Yeah, Jeff. I think that the first one is interesting, and then okay, Jeff. How about let's go to the second one. The second one is about try to surround yourself
Yes.
with English whenever possible. Can you tell me a little bit more what you reckon about this one, please?
Absolutely. I think that it's very important when you're learning English, especially if it's not a first language, to make sure that you are surrounding yourself with the language and exposing yourself to it as much as possible. And it doesn't even just have to be in a setting where you're studying it or if it's for a class. It can be fun. You can be watching movies in English. You can be watching television programs in English. You can be reading things that you enjoy. So, not necessarily a textbook, but something that would be interesting to you, a topic that's enjoyable to you. You can listen to songs with English lyrics. So there are a lot of ways to expose yourself to the language, to surround yourself with it. And I think that's the key is consistency. Being around it regularly is going to make it more natural and easier for you. I mean, what do you think? What has your experience been with that?
Oh, actually, for me, right, I used to have the inspiration when I was very young, like a kindergarten studying that, I studied English when I was a kindergarten one. They teach me to write the A to Z for the consonant and vowel, they know all of that. But I just like, oh, I have listened the movie that they that they have the English sound and they have a subtitle in Thai, right? I just find that one day I hope that I could listen and read and do all English perfectly. And now that day is come because I really inspired to be surround myself in the English condition, and that's why I spend money. I have paid for the course to study English, listening English, and try to be bettering myself in English in every time. And when I see something reading, when I see some foreigners that they may end up on the way that they may looking for the help. I try, okay, are they wanting anything from us to help them, some kind of that at all? So this is the way that I think about that. So do you think it is right, the same that help in that too?
Yes, absolutely. I think you make a lot of good points. And one point that I wanted to pick up on that you made was this idea of, if you can maybe, I think you mentioned how you could, watch something where it's English, but maybe there's Thai subtitles or something like that. I mean, that's interesting because that helps you make connections between the two languages. So if you can somehow have an experience where you're making those connections between the two languages and understanding, okay, if they're saying this and I'm
Mm,
saying that this is what it is in this language, how it's expressed, that can really make some strong connections for you between the two languages. Because yes, exposure to English is important,
yeah,
but
and
also making connections and
yeah,
understanding
I
how they
think
relate is
I
important
think
too.
you make a good point about the connection. You know why? When make a connection with two language, it may turn out something like not perfect. Let's say if I ask you to speak in Thai, you may be making a broken Thai language, but I am sure that that broken Thai language still can understand. Like I am making broken English language, for example, you still can understand what I try to communicate, but it may not be perfectly, right? So it just don't worry about making mistake, even if it sound like broken English, right? Okay, good.
Yeah, that's good. If I may, I just want to add very briefly to that point, because I think this idea, and I think this is something you mentioned in reference to number one as well, this idea of speaking broken English. But you're exactly right that when someone speaks broken English, it's because they already have all the rules and knowledge of one
Oh
language,
yeah, that's
and
so
they're learning
true.
the rules of the new language and trying to understand how the two different languages work,
Very good
because
point. Very
languages
good
work in
point.
different ways and they have really different rules. So,
Yeah, yeah,
I think that's the
yeah,
thing.
yeah. I know in the
Anyway,
bottom line now. Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, the next one is about like
yes.
try to practice English regularly, like every day if possible, or then like try to incorporate them into your life. Can you tell me a little bit more, because I try to understand what your point that, please.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think that with any skill, and I think learning a language is a skill, regular practice is necessary. I mean, we think about other things in our lives where we have to practice. You know, you think about learning a musical instrument. You know, you have to practice to be able to do it well. If you don't take this time to practice, you won't learn. Or say, you know, exercising. You can't go to the gym just once a month and expect to get good results. It has to become a habit. And I think that it's the same with English. You have to be able to invest the time consistently and you know move on. So, you know, I think it's really important that you be able to make it a habit. And different people have different schedules. So, you know, maybe it's a set amount of time a day, maybe it's 2 or 3 times a week, but making it a consistent routine is, I think, very important. That you have to, again, I think it relates to the idea of surrounding yourself, that you have to be around it regularly. If you're not, it's going to be more difficult to actually develop the skill.
Yeah,
I mean, what do you think?
I totally agree with you. I have spent the money, substantial money, like around $3,000 to study English, like 2 years studying English. But I spent like maybe like 20 hours a week, something like that. But I spent like 20 no, $3,000, something like that, right? It is progressive studying very well. However, I think when I get to Australia and stay there for 5 years and 7 years, it is something that totally changed. My brain can think in English. I can dream in English. You know, I dream in English.
That's great.
And one day, I had the app to record I'm sleeping, and they record the noise sleeping. I sleep talking in English. You know,
Really?
it kind of
Wow.
like if you can try to incorporate yourself, make you dream in English, sleep talking in English, then it can be something that the English it come into your life intuitively. Yeah.
Right. And what's great about that is the fact that, I mean, your example is a good one because it shows just how much you were exposed to the language and surrounded with it to the point that you could even dream in it or sleep talk in it. I think that shows just how much that exposure was beneficial to you in being able to make it something that was very
Yeah.
natural, something that's so central for you. So that's great. Good for you.
Yeah. Okay, Jeff. I think that's a good point for the number 3, definitely for our life, right? How about the next one? The next one is number 4. It's like you have to get practice all of the 4 important skill, which is read, write, listen, and speak, right? So whenever possible, have to do that, and some kind of that. So can you tell me a little bit more quickly about this 4 and how important that have to practice and look for pattern, look for the part of speech in general, just very detailed, very rough in the first one, please?
Yes, these are really the 4 skills that are the foundation of learning any language: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And I think what sometimes happens for people who are studying English and it's not their first language is maybe they become focused on just one of them. So, say speaking, for example, and they don't spend the time necessary to, you know, make sure that they're developing the other skills as well. So it needs to be balanced. I think really what this point is saying is that your approach to studying English needs to be balanced, that you need to have some comfort in reading the language, that when you look at something that's in English, that you feel like you can have some understanding of what it's saying. Some ability in writing the language, that you can write it down, right? That you can communicate through writing. That's important. that you can speak it, obviously, is critical in being able to communicate with other English speakers. And listening, right? Because again, communication is a dialogue, right? Like you and I right now are having a
Yeah,
dialogue.
correct,
We are
correct.
exchanging ideas, right? So it's important that I hear what you're saying, right? That I hear it and I also understand it. If I don't, then we're not having a dialogue. We're just, each of us is taking turns talking, but we're not really understanding each other. So listening is a very important skill, that you can actually hear what someone's saying, understand it, and be able to respond in a way that's appropriate. I mean, what do you think? What has your experience been with these 4 skills?
Yeah, like all these 4 skills, it has to be learned, and especially, listening and talking. I believe that 2 of these can be practiced and progressive very easy, very, very, very easy, right? Just talking, because you will be very good at speaking if you can listen and try to repeat what you listen. And even the accent, I've been to London for 2 weeks. It makes my accent become British accent because I live in London for 2 weeks, something like that. So
Right.
I try to make a good kill, like listening and speaking. It like pair together, can be progressing well together. And can you tell me, how about reading and writing? Is that pair like this as well, or you agree with that or not?
Absolutely. I think that those are very connected, right? I think we could see connections among all 4 of these skills, but I think reading and writing are very
For
important because
example, if they
you
read more, the more
go ahead.
reading, the more writing better, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've always told my students that I really see connections among these skills. But yeah, I think, when students ask, how can I become a better writer? What I always tell them is read as much as you can. So I think that the relationship between strong reading skills and strong writing skills in any language is very clear, because the more you read, the more that you're able to understand the language and understand how it's being used by someone who is comfortable in using the language, and you can try to apply those techniques to your own study of the language.
One caveat that I like to put it on, like, you have to choose what to read as well, because if you read something that is not formal, if you read something like, how can I say, like, it is very, very relaxed and casual language and too many slang in there, you may not know that what you read, it is slang word, and you may using the slang word to the formal word, and it makes your sentence not be very good. So you probably you have to understand that this is reading, you are reading with the journal from the university. Of course they had to make it writing academic, for example, something like that. You agree with me?
I agree. I think that, what you're saying basically is that it's important to be aware of the audience. It's important to be aware of how it's being used, that you want to understand that you don't, just in any language, right? There are more formal or more casual ways of expressing yourself. And it's important to be able to identify when those different types of communication are being used, so that you can make sure you understand and that you know when it's appropriate to use maybe more casual or more formal language.
Yeah, it's true.
Jeff, are you there?
Jeff, can you still hear me okay?
Yes, I can. It cut out for a moment, but I'm still here.
I don't know why. It's just funny. Okay, Jeff. Let's wrap up 4 of these.
Technology.
Let's wrap up 4 of these for half a second. So I can say that reading, speaking, writing, listening. If you practice, if you keep using, let's say, if you're speaking, if you have a chance to speak with a native speaker who know how to use English correctly, will be a plus. But if you don't have any native speaker around, don't be worried. Just try to find someone who kind of learn English, and they may have their better level of English than you, it's also fine as well, better than doing nothing. Yeah.
Exactly. I think it's helpful to get feedback from someone who is knowledgeable, but and to ask for corrections, which is the fifth point. I know
Yeah, this
we're
is the
running out of
five
time,
one.
but I think that's an important point too.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
let's
think
talk
the
about
key,
this point. The five one is about ask for correction. What do you think this one is very important? But for me, right, I am not sure that when someone speaking incorrectly, it's just like if I make a correction without they giving permission, they may hate me, they may feel like, don't worry about me, don't.
right.
But if I tell them, okay, let's say if you have your friend, if you have your colleagues, and something like you tell them clearly that that they are the native speaker, they are better than you about this, and you are wanting to be good and to be bettering yourself in every time. You tell them clearly that you are going to make an improvement from this. If they find something that you are using incorrectly, feel free to make a correction for them. Something like that. Yeah, Jeff, what do you reckon?
Yes, I think that's a good point. And I think, when it comes to corrections, there are a few important points to make. First of all, the idea that, the person giving the corrections obviously needs to do it in a way that's tactful, and not be sort of mean-spirited or make the person who's asking for the corrections, feel foolish. Recognize that it's learning, that they are learning, and be respectful and tactful and polite when correcting someone else. But seek feedback from someone who can give good feedback. And but yeah, go ahead, please.
It is important that actually have to make a correction professionally. The way of it's like an art of communicating in the negative sentence. It's loud. If you prove like this one wrong, it's ugly. Yeah, it's negative. But it's like, hey, actually, this word, if you use in the form of this, will make your sentence easier to understand and will be grammatically correct. It depends how you gonna receive the message, how you gonna take it, or something like that. And have to remember at the first part that I told you, if you're making a broken English, you don't have to worry. You are making the broken English because you know the grammar in your language, but English, they have a different grammar. That's why you make a mistake. And now you make a mistake and you fix. That is, you are bettering yourself. Right. So the more you are making a mistake, the more you can fix. And then in the end, you don't know that how much you improve, how much you walk so far, something like that. Yeah, it's just about this. Yeah, and you
Exactly.
think it's good, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's true, and I think that people, with studying English, it's something that's going to take a long time. I think people need to recognize that it's not going to happen overnight. And as you say, the progress will be gradual. You won't notice it probably very much at first. It will feel very slow, and it will feel like it's taking a long time. But what you'll realize is down the road, when you look back and see how much you've learned and how much your skills developed, you'll be very pleased and very happy and very surprised that you
Sure.
stuck with it.
I'm
And
so
again, that's why you
pleased
have to stick with
for the
it for so long.
currently. Yep. Jeff, yeah. So let's wrap up. The first one, don't worry about making a mistake. The second one, try to surround yourself with the English whenever possible, either English speaker, English news, English television, English whatever, right? The third one is try to practice
Yes.
it regularly, like until you can dream it, you can sleep talking with it. The fourth one is try to read, write, and speak and listen. Try to engage them, try to practice them every day in your life, something like that. And the fifth one is very important, ask for correction. Yeah, how is that?
Yes.
Just a five thing, easy to practice. It just like you need to have a passion, you need to have a very high determination to do it. Yeah. All right, Jeff, how is that today? We spend time around nearly half an hour. No, actually it's about 25 minutes, something like that. It was a good discussion having you today. I hope we can have this kind of discussion again later. How you reckon?
Absolutely. I enjoyed it very much. I hope that this information and these tips help a lot of people. And I thank you for, having me on for an interview. I enjoyed talking with you very much. This was a great experience. I hope we can do it again soon.
Okay. Hi everyone. Thanks for watching. We will talk to you again later. If you like my channel, can you please click like, subscribe, and comment in anything. In general, comment and have to be nice and productive. Okay, okay. So we can give this community better. Be nice each other. All right. Have a good one, everyone. Bye bye.